You've probably tried the profile funnel, the Instagram funnel, the micro niche YouTube channel funnel, and somehow you still don't get consistent lead flow. Because everyone is teaching you tactics, but no one is teaching you the psychological principle behind why these funnels work. I've spent the last 2 years studying deep buyer intent and psychology, and today I'm breaking down a core module from my paid program, the ones that these gurus hide and gatekeep behind $20,000 masterminds. I don't gatekeep, and if you watch till the end, you'll finally figure out why your funnels break. And here's the interesting part, while most of these gurus are talking about attracting or targeting your ICP, I don't focus on any of that. I create my ICP. Let me show you how. Welcome to Deep ICP Analysis, Behavior and Signals and Buying Triggers module. It's a big module, but this is one of the core modules that you need to understand on how to create your ICP. It's a very well underground strategy that I've broken down in this module. You're going to be very surprised as to how this actually works and how do you build this out for yourself. So let's not waste any more time. So welcome to Deep ICP Analysis, Behavior, Signals and Buying Triggers. In this module, we'll go over signaling theory and how humans perceive information, which is very, very important. The Instagram and YouTube algorithms, so we understand what these platforms want. Pain variability and how you can create your ICP, which is the main point that we're going to be covering today. Now, why am I covering all of this stuff? Is because these are the core foundational principles. I can give you the information. I can give you the ICP creation prompt that I already have ready for you. But there is no point to all of that if you don't understand what these core fundamentals are. So, can you tangibly define the value your video provides to the market? Not the definition of value, that every guru talks about, like, oh, value is created when pain is alleviated. The actual physical representation of value. Unless you're God or a genius, you can't. Value exists because we as humans exist. We define things to be valuable or not. Value is not a core component of life. It does not exist like we think it does. Value is something that we have created as humans. So if we have defined things to be valuable, but we ourselves can't physically hold value, how do we determine value? Think about it like this. How do you know if something exists if you can't see it? If you have no tangible proof of it? Let's think about God. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. How can you explain tangibly the proof of God? You can't. It's a belief. We have created it. So isn't that an interesting question? So the answer to that question is signaling theory. Signaling theory explains how people send signals to convey information about themselves, especially when the true information is hidden, uncertain, or impossible to verify directly. If people cannot directly measure the value you provide, they judge it based on signals you give out. This is very, very, very important for you to understand. If you give out the wrong signals, they will perceive it to be wrong, and vice versa. Humans don't really, focus on value as you think you do. We have been told by these gurus, these people online, marketing gurus, whatever, that you need to give value, value, value. They throw around value as a term so frequently when they don't even explain to you how value is, perceived by humans. It's not about like how you create the value. It's about how value is perceived by the person you're trying to target. So signaling theory was formally introduced by Michael Spence, an economist from Harvard in his 1973 paper, Job Market Signaling, Quarter Journal of Economics. This is very, very important. He released this paper called Signaling Theory, which was basically like a core fundamental economics principle, which also was a biological principle discovered and studied by another person. But both of them talked about the one same thing, and it's a deep topic which is also relevant to creating content. Signaling theory is comprised of the signaler, which is the person receiving the signals, the receiver, the person interpreting the signals, the signal itself, the observable behavior and attribute used to infer something deeper, and hidden trait, the thing that the receiver cares about but does not see directly. So you've got the signaler, you've got the receiver. This is the signaling sort of funnel, or like this filter that we as humans have. And this triangle is the hidden trait. These are the core fundamental components of signaling theory. Now, how does it work? The signaler sends out signals to show the receiver that, listen to me, I'm smart. So this is what we do with YouTube videos. This video right over here. I'm sending out a signal to show you, like, you know what? I'm super smart. Listen to me. Now you have got this filter on for yourself. Now what this filter does, the signals determine how it is perceived by the receiver. So these are the signals. Now this filter will determine how these signals are supposed to be perceived. If the signals are really good, the signals reach the receiver and the receiver thinks, you know what, this is true, this guy's really good. If the signals are really, really bad, the receiver says, you know what, this is just absolutely trash. The receiver only cares about this hidden trait that they want. This is a subconscious desire. This is what they require. So when you're watching a video like this, you have this hidden desire inside of yourself, the hidden thing that you want to achieve from watching this video. And so what you do is, if the signals that I give out to you are good, they will look at the signaler. So you will look at me as someone who can give them the hidden trait, and that is when I earn your attention. But if the signals are bad, they will look at this signaler, look at me as someone who will not give them what they desire. So obviously you don't give me the attention. This is how you perceive attention. This is how you give attention to people. You see how deep this goes. Mostly, I absolutely hate this like personal branding space wherein nobody goes deep like I do. This is what you need to understand. So even if the signaler is someone who can help the receiver, they will still not get the attention because of the signals they give out. Think about this. If I was sitting in here with a phone mic, the super shitty mic, which has a lot of background audio, with like 10 different people walking behind me, and I told you about this, I am valuable, I am authoritative, you need to give me more money, listen to what I have to say. Do you think that would have happened? Technically, I could have the ability to do so. Technically, I could have the ability to give you value, but you're not going to listen to me because of the signals I give out. So, your lack of attention in your niche is because of the wrong signals you have been giving out, straight up. That's the only thing that is holding you back. The wrong signals that you have been giving out. Because there are two types of signals that you can produce to convert and attract the right people. There is costly signals, and these are signals for which take a lot of resources to produce. So a physical, mental, money, time, reputation. For example, a good looking body, a nice car, a nice house, high quality videos. These require a lot of time, effort, resources to do. That means it's a costly signal because it is it's high amounts of effort, so it is highly perceived as valuable. Cheap signals. These are signals which are easy to give out and do not take a lot of resources. For example, wearing gym clothes but not being fit, calling yourself a CEO in your bio, writing LinkedIn posts with random buzzwords. This is a very prevalent thing in the space. People write LinkedIn posts with random ass buzzwords which absolutely don't make any sense. It's literally the cheapest signal that you can have. Nobody looks at it as an authority. It's not hard to write those LinkedIn posts. And how these signals are given out is how the viewers respond. So the origin of this theory came about in economics and hiring. So employers couldn't directly gauge the ability of the employee. So a degree became the representation of ability. Having a degree showed you had ability. Ability is what the employers wanted. See, signaling theory came about to solve the information asymmetry. Information asymmetry is how things work. There is some information asymmetry. I have more information than you, which is why you're listening to what I have to say. So workers know their skill level, employers don't. Sellers know their product quality, buyers don't. Entrepreneurs know their competence, investors don't. So because there is an information asymmetry, signaling theory came about, which basically just was this deep biological evolutionary tendency that we had. Our survival was dependent on how well we perceived information in environmental, social, and mental grounds. Evolutionary, how you perceived information greatly determined how much you survived out there, how much survived, how well you survived out there. Your ability to survive was directly dependent on how well you perceived the environmental, social, and mental grounds. So our goal becomes to make the right person experience the right costly signal. So once they do experience the right costly signal, they look at us as an authority, they give us the attention, they experience the value, boom, then our entire acquisition process starts. This way, every piece of content we put out becomes 10 times more effective. This in turn leads to be a compounding effect. Look at the graph below. Look at these three logarithmic graphs. These are graphs with high signal video, medium signal video, low signal video. Just changing these signals of the video greatly determines how well it compounds. Over a span of 180 days, a high signal video will greatly outperform the low signal video. It's logical. But think about it like this. If you figure out the exact high signals that you require in your videos, think about how well those videos would compound and think about how automated you can do it, because throughout this course, throughout the program, you're going to figure out, I'm going to give you all the knowledge you need to actually automate these aspects of content creation. So you're going to be able to create high signal videos automatically a lot. You're now going to double the volume of the high signal videos you make. So just think about how well it's going to work for you. Look at what the curves represent. X-axis is days since upload. So We're going for 180 days. That is about 6 months. Y-axis is effectiveness score, which is reach into trust index. So it's a composite of views, saves, shares, profile visits, follows, and leads. So reach into trust index. How well every single piece of content you post doubles the trust that you have. So these are the assumptions that we have. Algorithms on both IG and YouTube reward watch time, saves, shares, CTR, and retention, all of which increase with stronger signaling. I'm going to break down Instagram algorithm and YouTube further as well, right, right now. So better production, clearer ICP speaking, stronger proof, sharper hook, aesthetics, authority. These are like the basic assumptions we're taking. So the high signal video compounds fastest and keeps getting recommended. So this is how algorithms work. Right? You already know this. So I'm not going to bore you with this. The medium signal video grows but slower and plateaus early. The low signal video gets some initial reach but decays into long tail quickly. But to properly understand how to leverage signaling theory, we need to properly understand how the YouTube and Instagram algorithms even work, because we're going to be creating your ICP. So let's take a closer look at the YouTube algorithm. Now, this is something which is very interesting. If you struggle with YouTube a lot, if you have seen a lot of videos pop off, this will absolutely change the way you understand and approach these videos. So YouTube does not revolve around the creator. It is not revolving around what we want and what we upload videos. YouTube is viewer centric. It is all about the viewer. What the viewer wants is what YouTube will do. And this is fundamentally how it works. You need to keep this in mind. YouTube is ultimately a business and they want to make money. The way they make money is by letting advertisers run ads on their platforms. But why would advertisers run ads on YouTube? Because of the viewer. But why will the viewer watch YouTube? It's because of the creator. So essentially, YouTube is a trifecta of three components. Understanding the three components helps us to understand where we fit in. This is the trifecta model of YouTube. You've got the viewer, you've got the creator, you've got the advertisers. So the viewers watch creators, right? The creators get paid by advertisers and advertisers pay for the viewer. If any of these three components do not exist, the entire model breaks. If there is no viewer, the creator has no incentive to make a video. The advertisers have no attention to pay for. If there is no advertisers, creators have no intention to make videos because they're not getting paid for it. Right? So because creators are not incentivized to make videos, viewers don't watch the creators. If creators don't exist, obviously, viewers have no one to watch, advertisers have no attention to pay for. So nobody does anything for free. Every component within this ecosystem will want to do certain actions based on the incentives they have. So if a creator's incentive is post a good video, the viewer likes it, advertisers pay for that attention, they make money. Viewer, open YouTube to feel satisfied, watch videos to feel satisfied, then watch more of the videos. Advertisers pay YouTube because of the daily attention, divert attention on the ads. And then in the sales funnel, make money using that attention. So in a nutshell, YouTube's main goal is to satisfy the viewer, not suggest your videos more, not give advertisers more attention. It is not thinking about the advertisers, not about you at all. If the viewer is satisfied with the videos, all the other incentives are accounted for. Because YouTube suggests videos based on how much it thinks it will satisfy the viewer, because YouTube cares more about session time over video time. It does not care about how long the viewer is watching the video for, it cares about how long the viewer is on the platform. And to increase that, to increase the session time, it's going to give viewers the right video so they feel satisfied, which is the main sort of incentive viewers have, because YouTube is viewer centric. I hope this makes sense. YouTube is not optimized for, oh, I need to increase watch time like we chunguses do. It's not a chungus like us, bro. YouTube is not optimized for, oh, I need to increase watch time so that, like a retard. It is looking to make the viewer be on the platform for as long as possible. So it suggests your videos to them based on how satisfied the viewers feel. So this is what happens when you upload a video on YouTube. Let me zoom in right here. Your video enters the algorithm's testing system. YouTube gives a small, let me zoom in. Okay, I hope you can see this. Your YouTube video enters the algorithm's testing system. YouTube gives a small test batch of impressions. So once you upload, it's being sent to a cold pool of test. YouTube tests the video with a micro audience to collect early signals. Question YouTube asks is, how do real humans react to this? This is what the initial free impressions are all about. This is when the graph slowly starts to pick up. It's being tested out. So when you see like a YouTube like retention graph or like an impression graph and it randomly just spikes up, it's because it's being tested. Then YouTube checks, do people click this? Is the title thumbnail pulling interest? If the CTR is low, distribution stops. If the CTR is high, more impressions. So if people are not clicking, it drops. The distribution drops. If people are clicking, now YouTube is like, okay, you know what? People are clicking on this video. YouTube and title, I like that. Then retention filter. Now YouTube asks, are people staying? First 10 seconds, 30 seconds, average percentage use. Poor retention kills distribution more than anything else. Are people watching it through? If people are watching, oh, you know what? I'm YouTube. This video, people are clicking on the video. They're watching a lot of the video. Now let's take a look at the satisfaction filter. YouTube analyzes likes, shares, watch time, comment quality, whether users binge more afterwards. This predicts long-term satisfaction. Are the viewers satisfied with this video? You know what? It seems like the viewers are satisfied with this video. Now let's match it to the right audience. Now YouTube tries to discover who the video is for. It actually does discover who it's for in the cold pool test itself. But now it's going to push that video out to more and more people. Now it knows exactly what sort of audience likes the video. It starts pushing it out more. Now if the video passes all filters, YouTube starts pushing it more aggressively, but not randomly. It pushes to the audiences with the highest predicted watch time, predicted satisfaction, predicted binge likelihood. So you can see here, it tested it out here. It went through all of these filters. Now YouTube as an algorithm has a prediction. You know what? This subsect of audience, you know what? People like you watching this video right now, they like this video a lot. I'm going to push it out to more people. And so now the views graph in your like analytics starts to pop off. And then you have this compounding cycle in which everything starts to compound. You can see how it is a deep continuous cycle. Fuck, if the algorithm was so easy, anybody would be able to go viral and crack it, It's not, it's deep, and now you have understanding of how it works. It's not so simple. Every one of these personal branding gurus is talking about, like, watch time, reach, watch time, CTR, bro, like a little chungus, bro. It is deep, it is hard, but now you've understood. So now let's take a look at the IG algorithm, because it works in a very similar manner, but not entirely. The IG algorithm works very similarly to that of YouTube, and the entire point is viewer satisfaction. Instagram system exists to maximize individual user satisfaction and time on app by showing each person the content they're more likely to enjoy and engage with. Maximize individual user satisfaction and time on app. Session time, satisfaction. Again, so this is how it works. Upload. IG shows the content to a small targeted sample, just like YouTube, a cold pool, cold start test. It retrieves a set of candidate items for a user. So it retrieves like, okay, these are the metrics these cold audience pool actually has. Then it predicts satisfaction, likelihood, ranks top items. It predicts these metrics. Then it goes through safety and policy filters, and then it looks at the session effect. So it measures how much of a session impact has this video had, and then it goes into prediction, and then this cycle works again. So effectively, Instagram works like this. You upload a video, it gets tested. It predicts this behavior. It goes through its policies. It then sees how does this video impact the session time of the user. If it impacts the session time, if they're on the platform for longer, they're watching the reel more, it suggests more of your reels to them. If the session time is increasing more, your videos pop up. That's just how it works. So from this, it is pretty obvious that the entire point of any video we upload on these platforms should be to satisfy the ICP we want to attract. Satisfy them, make them feel good. But in reality, we don't focus on attracting anybody. We will create the ICP from scratch as per our demand. So let me explain how this works. It's a very interesting phenomenon. And I'm going to show you the sales funnel as well to use after this. Pain variability. This is very, very important to understand. Let me zoom out now so I can explain this better. Pain is not linear. And this is very important to understand. Pain can never be linear. Linear pain does not exist. Everyone who creates content always assumes pain is linear, that it increases with time, but that is not true. Pain is variable. If it was linear, selling through inbound would be extremely easy. Take a look at this. This is the graph. The highest peak is the point in which selling your solution is the easiest. This is the peak. This is the highest level of pain they experience, which is when they buy. Right? You know this. When they experience the highest level of pain, this is where they're going to be buying. All the other points, they are not going to buy. It's simple as that. They're not going to buy. So if they're not going to buy when they experience level 1 pain, what is the point of providing the solution to that pain? Think of it like this. This is the pain when they go to buy. These are the pains they are going to experience. This is the biggest mistake that you are probably doing. If you had a very bad stomachache, you go to the doctor to find a solution. The doctor gives you the medicine fixes your pain. Cool, your stomachache is gone. The doctor solved your problem. The doctor provided you the exact solution to the problem you're facing. Now imagine you had a slight headache because you didn't sleep well. You walk by the doctor and gives you the same medicine. Would you take it? You're not even looking for the medicine. You have a headache because you didn't sleep well. The doctor comes up to you. They're like, you know what, bro? Take this medicine. Would you take that shit? Of course not. You wouldn't take it. The medicine does not solve the problem you have. Yet this is how most of your prospects feel, being sold to when it is not what they are looking for. They are at these levels of pain, not at this level. So it makes zero sense to try to pitch your product at these levels because they're never going to buy it. They have to experience this level of pain. So your ICP is essentially someone who has the financial ability to buy your service, has higher buying power, has the offer, whatever. And one core component is they experience this level of pain. This is the social filter. Even if they had the buying ability, even if they had the good offer, social proof, whatever, if they experience these levels of pain, they are still not your ICP because they're not going to buy. You see how that makes sense? This is the core mistake I want you to understand, because if you understand the existence of this issue, you will understand how to attract or create your ICP. And we use this tendency of nature of pain to create your ICP from demand. So we know the buy at the highest pain point. We want to engineer everything so that buying makes the most logical sense. But what about the other pains? We solve it with content. Imagine this: whatever micro problem they have, you have a solution to. They experience this pain, you solve it, they trust you. They experience this pain, you solve it, they trust you. So this is where they're going to buy. Imagine these pains, these small little micro problems that they're going to experience. I'll give an example right now. Imagine you are providing fitness coaching to bodybuilders. You're helping bodybuilders win the Olympia. Now, the total addressable market of people who are into bodybuilding so much so that they want to become Mr. Olympia's level, and they have the ability to do so, is very less. So how do you attract your ICP? You don't sit down and make content. If you want to be a Mr. Olympia champion, do this. No, don't do that shit. That's not how it works. It's not ads. Ads is where that shit works. Direct marketing. You can choose who your videos is going to be shown by. We literally right now saw how you don't have control over who your video is going to be shown to. So why would you do that? It is not logical to do so. So now, instead of targeting these people directly, what you do is you figure out these micro problems. You don't target beginners, obviously, but you target advanced people. So the first problem that I can think of is plateaus. How do you deal with plateaus? How do you break plateaus when you've already been working out for a couple of years? You solve that issue with your content, because think about this. We want them to experience this pain. We want them to experience it, so they buy. Why will they buy? Because they trust you. How do they trust you? If you've solved other problems for them. So you effectively target a subsection of people who are technically not your ICP, but they will become your ICP in the future through your content strategy. And this is a strategy that we're going to be going over in the next few months together. This is the exact thing we're going to be doing. Creating these ICPs from scratch. Think about it. So you solve this micro problem. They solve this problem because of your video. Then they go to the next problem, then the next problem, and then finally they reach this point wherein you've created the ICP, wherein they're like, oh my god, you know what, Rohit? I love what you do. I want to buy from you because I want to get this desired result. This is how you create your ICP. Let me show you the exact sales funnel we're going to be leveraging with this exact thing. This is what people do is hopeful inbound. So they post on IG, they post on YouTube, and they do mass posting on IG and YouTube, focus on value-based content, but it does not account for market sophistication and needs. So you're just another person trying out inbound acquisition. Then you have a Calendly link with a link in bio, hopeful that somebody interested will book a call. Same principle of cold outreach and inbound. Doesn't work because people buy based on trust and authority, not based on a lot of interest. And does not account for lack of touch points and trust. It's best for attracting beginners. You're never going to attract qualified people. Prospects barely show up, maybe you close a few. The AI content ecosystem, this is the one that we're going to be building. So you post top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel IG reels. So ICP is created at scale, just like we discussed right now. So leads need different solutions at different stages of their ICP creation journey. Some need nurturing, blah blah blah. So top of funnel makes people curious, middle of funnel nurtures audience and increases trust, bottom of funnel is focused on conversion. So solving ICP stage problems so that the ICP has no other choice but to work with you. You direct them to an optimized profile. Creates massive credibility and conversion. So bio has a simple CTA to reach out to me, instantly makes the lead take the basic action required. B is equal to MAP. This is another very core important principle, is BJ Fogg's behavioral principle. When behavior only occurs when you have motivation, when you have ability, and when you give them a prompt. So if I create enough motivation for you to execute, I give you the exact steps that you need to take, and I give you the prompt. You know what? Oh, sorry. I give you the motivation, I show you how easy it is, and I give you the exact steps that you need to execute. That's when behavior happens. If any of this is missing, behavior never occurs. This is just psychologically how it works. So this is the bio. Obviously, I've changed my bio a lot, but link in bio to YouTube, and some of the leads then proceed to go to YouTube where they see the lead nurturing mechanisms and blah blah blah. So let me just show you my exact Instagram profile right now, as at the time of recording this video. This is my exact founder of Clients First, storytelling for coaches and creators, DM scale to turn your life into content that sells. This is the exact funnel that you know I have currently. So we redirect them to an optimized profile. This creates massive credibility because this is where we're diverting these attention. I'm gonna go over it right now. Let me just go over it right now. So optimized profile also has daily story sequences. Now these daily story sequences are very very important because we need to post these story sequences to create trust. Humans love to have things which are consistent cognitively. We love to be normal. Anything that breaks the pattern causes the default part of your brain to turn off and the hard manual and slow part of your brain to turn on. So there are two parts to your brain, system 1 and system 2. System 1 is where things quickly happen. System 2 is where I have to think and sit down. This is sort of like the high cognitive work that you do. So that's why hooks work. They cause cognitive dissonance. They cause cognitive dissonance so that you break from system 1 and you go into system 2. And we apply it in the same way. We create story sequences which are aimed at creating curiosity, creating consistency, and a CTA. There are different intentions of stories every day, and we use the drip down style format to create consistency so that people want to click more. So Monday, for example, is a direct CTA. So I'm so excited because I've been focused on a lot of product work, BS, blah, 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 blah. Reply with me, work with me one on one. It's like a drip down format. So it has consistency in the text. And when you click through these story sequences on your phone, they like flow properly. So you want to finish off like the flow of it. These are like other story sequences, the stats that we track. You're going to have access to the trackers as well. So you know exactly what you need to do as well. So that's not a problem. Story sequences, profile bio, again directly over here we have a YouTube link right here, so people can go into the YouTube link. Profile bio with a CTA, so the DM, we use the DM scripts, get the qualified leads to book a call. If they're not qualified, we redirect them to weekly YouTube videos. So what we do is we take these top of funnel, bottom of funnel and middle of funnel IG reels, figure out the exact working reels and break them down with YouTube. So it's like testing the waters. You figure out what works on Instagram, it'll work on YouTube. You find out what your market is responding to well and break down the video on YouTube. YouTube then acts as a lead nurturing mechanism. The better the video, the more the conversion. It's like killing two birds with one stone. You post that shit on YouTube, and this is where the real sauce lies. And you create sales assets like my robots, like this one, breakdowns and concepts which will help the lead bridge one of the three phases. Providing the knowledge and systems, never dumb yourself down. Your leads are not dumb. The entire point of YouTube is to create an info gap. Your leads are not dumb. Don't treat them like, super dumb people. They know what you're talking about. Your leads should feel as if they're not knowing shit and you have the information they need. You need to create that info gap, which we've talked about before. Now, the Instagram bio also has highlight sequences. So start here sequences clearly gives the incoming leads a place to start. So it gives the P inside the B is equal to MAP. Life shows your personality. Inbound funnel. So value related to your unique mechanism. This is where you create trust by providing information and expertise. Next, clients. Show real clients results, increase perceived authority because humans are always interested in the story of others. We base how valuable something is based on how easily examples come to mind. The moment you provide some client results, that is when you make it easier for your leads to remember it. You base things to be true based on how easily examples come to mind. That's just how psychologically you're wired. This is exactly why you're more afraid to be on plane crashes than car crashes, even though plane crashes are statistically less likely to happen. Plus, we also place a social proof as another important factor for making decisions. So our ancestors determined this, if use this to determine if a person is good or not. We use the same but for different intentions. So obviously you need social proof. Personalized, so you show a little bit about your life, your personality, because people ultimately buy into stories. Show them your stories, show them why you matter, let them buy into you. And results, show your own results, show proof that your own product works for yourself. Again, the moment you get people to remember your proof as simply as possible, that is where you create genuine trust and conversions. Let's just go over my own story sequences. This one is the life one right here. Super simple. You know, look at this physique, bruh. Super simple. Start here. Boom. You can go through all of this, like I've mapped out everything. This is a system. Boom. You know, client results. life V2, results of myself, blah blah blah, all of that stuff. This is the exact sales funnel. In the next few modules, we're going to be going deeper into all of this. We're going to be breaking down a lot more stuff. So I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Don't sacrifice your future self for the pleasure today. Peace.